alive on a cloudy and warm. It's a muggy Thursday morning. Welcome on into the bullpen. It is a Bull and Fox edition, as it is every Thursday morning. Going to you a couple minutes late here. It is 9:05, but here we are. Dustin, how you doing, man? I know you're sick a little bit today.
Yeah,
Fighting
what's
through it.
happening, man? I'm a little under the weather, which is kind of
Yeah.
weird because, it's been all over well, not a year, but it's been a while since I've been on the radio, and not working in the radio every day, you kind of avoid these microphones that have these nasty germs, and so
Yeah.
my immune system's gotten better. I think I haven't gotten as sick, but this is the first time I've been sick for I don't know, it's been like 5-6 days, and I don't like it.
You
I
down?
think it's the weather, the allergies is kind of getting bad around
Yeah.
Ohio right now, but
But weren't you in
it's
Florida? Were you in Florida when you got sick?
no, I was starting to remember we worked UCSS last Friday together.
Yeah.
And remember, I
Right.
was starting to get a little bit of a cold when
Oh, yeah, that's
we were
right.
working
So
together.
you
You're like,
got it right before
hey,
you left.
exactly. And then you
All right.
fly,
Yeah, that
and then you
makes
know
it
how that is
worse.
when you fly. It's like
Yeah.
it just stinks if you get sinuses and you're going up and down, the pressure and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's
enough
awful.
about me. How's it going?
It's going good. We got, the Browns to talk about. It didn't go well for the Cavs. We'll get to that
Oh,
later. But yeah, brutal end to the season. But let's begin with the big news of the day. The Browns and all the team schedules come out yesterday. The Browns seem like they're at home every year, week one, and once again, that is the case. It will be the Bengals at the Browns week one, and the interesting thing about the Browns schedule. Now, the last game of the season, we don't have a time yet because they always set the schedule for the last week. But for the Browns' first 16 games, they play 13 at 1 o'clock. They have no nighttime games. They play in England against the Vikings, which is technically a home game for the Browns at 9:30 a.m. on October the 5th. And they have 4 o'clock games back-to-back weeks, November 16th and 23rd. But as of now, no night games. Surprised at all or no?
No, and frankly, I'm pretty happy that there's not any primetime games because you don't need to be in primetime when you're not ready for the prime time.
That's
And
fair.
so I like if you're a fan of the Cleveland Browns, and we are, like it's going to be a rebuilding year. It's not going to be a season where I think this team's going to be a playoff team. And if they happen to be and they have some miraculous year with Flacco or whoever ends up being the starting quarterback, great. There can be some flex times at the end of the year.
Sure.
But for them to have to be on Monday Night Football, no, I'm good. I'm good. We don't have a quarterback. We're not expected to win this division. It's one
That's
of the
right.
toughest divisions in football. So I'm cool with that. 1 o'clock in Cleveland's great. Get your Sunday started with the little 1 o'clock football. The Vikings. That's what they played last time they were in London, right?
I believe so.
2017,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's who they played. So,
Yep.
yeah, going a little across the pond there for that. I mean, listen, I'm sure people have played the schedule game all morning. Sorry, I'm dying,
Mm,
but
don't die.
they're like a 5, 6, 7 win team, right?
I mean, even 7 would be pretty. I mean, if they win 7 games, I'll say that's a fairly successful season for this team. If they go 7-10, let's look at the beginning of the schedule. By the way, and again, it's on paper. You never know how good teams are going to be. A team you expect to be good could end up being bad. A team you expect to be bad could end up being good. But on paper, based on the knowledge we have now, if you look at 1 sec, there you go. If you look at their first 5 games, Bengals at home, at Baltimore, Packers at home, at Detroit, and then the Vikings in England. I mean, that is a hell of a tough schedule. There's not, I mean, all 5 of those teams could be playoff teams. That's 5, again, on paper, but 5 teams you expect, at least I expect, to be good. Now, Minnesota probably going with J.J. McCarthy this year, so who knows? Maybe they'll take a step back. I don't know. But those other teams, the first 4 weeks, I mean, assuming health, the quarterback you're going to face, you got Burrow, you got Lamar, you got Jordan Love, you got Jared Goff, and that, high-powered Lions offense. That is a brutal stretch to
No,
start
the
the
the,
season.
the Browns are most likely going to be 0-4 going into October. Before
I,
they get on that
yeah.
plane to go across the pond, I don't think they're going to have a win.
Well, they're going to be. Yeah, I mean, listen, you never know, but yeah, it's hard to pick a win in any of those games. And what is the point spread like right now? Let's see if we have at Bet Rivers the point spreads for the first week. I think we do. So here we go. You want to take a guess as to what Bengals at Browns, what the spread is now at Bet Rivers for that game?
Yeah, Bengals would be favored by 4.5.
Very close. Bengals by 5.5. So all right, building off that. If we build off of that, and obviously, results of the game will change this, but as of now, if they're a 5.5 point dog to the Bengals at home, that would make me think they're at minimum
Nine
a
and a half.
7.8 point dog. Yeah, probably you may be right. 9.5 to the Ravens on the road in week 2 if the line's coming out right now. Week 3, Green Bay at home, they're probably a 3-point dog.
Yeah, 3.5.
And then week 4,
9.
Yes. I mean, what are you a bigger dog
10,
against Detroit
11?
or Baltimore?
I mean, probably Baltimore.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, the Lions' offense was so good last year.
Yeah.
I guess time will tell. In the first couple of weeks of the season, we'll probably dictate what that spread is too. If the Lions start 3-0,
Yeah.
and Goff is cooking again, then that spread could be double digits.
Yeah. They look at that. Warren Sharp, based on projected season win totals, the Browns have the hardest schedule week 1 through 4 in the league.
It's not easy.
Yeah. So you're and it's an interesting. If you think about, let's say they start either Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett, they go with the veteran to start the season. If they start 0-4, well, now you're thinking about, okay, are we playing Shador? Are we playing Dylan Gabriel? And that next stretch of games, Minnesota in England, at Pittsburgh, Miami at home, at the Jets, at the Patriots, a bye, and then at the Jets. I'm not going to say there's a soft part of their schedule because there really isn't, but that next stretch obviously isn't as bad as the first 4 weeks. And somewhere in that range, you'd think that maybe they make the quarterback switch if they get off to the start that we all expect them to.
Yeah, I would expect that to happen probably around that bye, which is week 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get all the way through September and October.
Yeah.
You'll probably have a couple of wins, but I don't know where. Like the Vikings could be a win for the Browns. The Steelers could be a win for the Browns. Maybe the Patriots, but like the Steelers and Patriots, both those games are on the road.
Right. Yeah.
There's a chance that they could literally be 0-8.
Yeah. Oh, God. That would be.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
We're being negative here.
Yeah.
What's best case? Look, first 8 weeks of the season. Best case? Could they be 500? No way.
It's hard to see.
No way.
I think if you played the season, if you played those first 8 games 100 times, maybe 5 times they'd be 500 or better. 5 out of 100. I'd say they got a 5% chance to be 500 or better. I would say most likely is they have 1 or 2 wins after 8 games. I'll say 2. I say that's the most likely scenario if you played the season 100 times, that they'd have 2 wins. That between, Minnesota, again, we don't know what they're going to be. They were really good last year. I don't think anybody expected them to be quite as good. Sam Darnold had that great season, but now you're going with a rookie who was hurt all last year. We don't know how good McCarthy is. Pittsburgh's always tough at home, but, who's their quarterback? Is it Aaron Rodgers? Is he even still healthy then? Miami's okay, but the game's at home. I think they could pull out 2 wins in that group of 4 there. Maybe I'm being optimistic. It's very hard to pick them to win a game in the first 4. I mean, the most likely scenario is they start 0-4. That's the most likely scenario.
Yeah,
and then
I
think
agree.
The most likely scenario weeks 5 through 8 is they go either 1-3 or 2-2 in the next 4. So I think realistic best case scenario is 3-5 after 8. Most likely it's 2-6 or even 1-7. I mean, like I'd bet on them going 1-7 before I bet on them going 500 in those first 8 games.
Yep, 100%.
So
I mean, their first win could be coming off the bye at the Jets.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. Is that the time? Like, if they make the switch now, if they start 0-4, could you make a switch before going to England?
You could.
You don't want to make that switch going into Pittsburgh. You don't want to have your first start again at Pittsburgh. If they're 1-5 or 0-6, I certainly could see the switch before the Dolphins game, because think about that. If you put in a rookie, that's not a bad spot. You go against Miami at home, at New England, then you get a bye week, then at the Jets. Baltimore's tough at home, but at the Raiders, I mean, you'd have 4 out of 5 games there where it's mediocre or worse opponents. So that might be a good stretch that we could see a quarterback change. I hate for that to be the discussion, but it is what it is. And then
it's the reality, man.
Yeah. And then the close of the schedule, obviously, I mean, after that Vegas game, then they got San Francisco at home. The Niners should be better than last year. Tennessee at home. Tennessee on paper is not very good, but it just depends how good Cam Ward is. If Cam Ward's that next great rookie quarterback, then the Titans are going to be a lot better. But then the Bears, who should be better, and that's game on the road. And then you got Buffalo and Pittsburgh at home and at the Bengals. So a tough open and a tough close for the Browns.
I mean, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
The Browns need more draft picks to be high. So this is all right, man. Like, I'm not really that worried about this schedule at all.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough rebuilding year. They need it. They need to develop a quarterback. They're going to need to get these reps. Like, it's okay. You don't have JOK this year. You may not have him ever. Like, there's a lot of things going on with this team that we don't need to worry about this schedule.
Yeah. By the way, the Browns do have one night game. It's in the preseason. Their first preseason game at Carolina is a Friday night at 7 p.m., Friday, August 8th. Then Saturday, August the 16th, they're at Philadelphia at 1 p.m., and their final preseason game and only home preseason game is Saturday, August 23rd at 1 p.m. You mentioned JOK there. I want to talk about that for a minute because I haven't had a chance to speak to you about it. Yep. By the way, before we do that, Browns plus 800 to make the playoffs, obviously. I don't know.
Unlikely.
Would you even consider?
No, plus 800. I think they should be plus 8,000
to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
saying, like, that number's too low.
Yeah. Right.
8 to 1. It should be like 80 to 1.
They're plus 3,000 to win the North.
Yeah, that's what it should be to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's easier to make the playoffs than win the division, but yeah,
I know that. I'm just
right.
saying,
Right.
Like, it's
you're right.
plus 800. I mean, I'd rather do like a 3-team parlay.
Yeah. Plus 3,000. Would you lay $5 on the Browns at plus 3,000 to win the division?
No.
That sucks.
How could you? You have Joe Burrow and an MVP in Lamar Jackson in your division.
Yeah. The odds to win the division right now at Bet Rivers: the Ravens are minus 143, the Bengals are plus 215, the Steelers are plus 575, and the Browns are plus 3,000. I think the Browns have the Browns are according to Bet Rivers, the least likely team to win their division at plus 3,000. You got the Jets in the AFC East at plus 1,600. In the AFC South, the Titans are the biggest long shot at plus 800. In the AFC West, it's the Raiders plus 2,000. NFC East, the Giants plus 2,500. NFC North, the Bears plus 475. In the South, Saints plus 1,000. And in the NFC West, the Seahawks are plus 575. So by far, the Browns at plus 3,000 are the least likely to win their division, which, I guess that makes sense. I could see the Giants. I can't see the Raiders. The Raiders, I would think, might end up being plus 3,000 too. And I can't see the Giants really winning their division. But those are the three teams that you're like, okay, there's no chance.
Who's going to be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I'm going to keep just assuming it's Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. If it's not Aaron Rodgers, then it's going to be Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph and Will Howard? Skylar Thompson?
Yeah, I mean, could they trade for a quarterback? I don't know. I mean,
And there's no way they go into the season with that being their
I
room.
I can't
There's no
imagine.
way.
They must be assuming that eventually Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with them. Now, what Aaron Rodgers has left at this point, on the field he wasn't terrible last year. He wasn't good,
No.
but he wasn't terrible. But I believe he's 41 now. Yeah. In fact, he'll be 42 during the season. I mean, no, outside of Tom Brady, nobody's ever been good at this age. There's never been a quarterback that's been good at age 41 besides Tom Brady. And Tom Brady's one of one. So, even if you're relying on Aaron Rodgers, and even if you're the Steelers and you're going to run a lot, and I just, even if he is their quarterback, can he make it through a season? Is he going to?
No, I don't think he'll make it all 17 games.
Yeah, I mean, that seems unlikely. So it almost seems like it doesn't matter who the Steelers quarterback is. They're always, around 500. They often make the playoffs. They obviously always lose in the first round for the last bunch of years. But they don't, I don't know. Maybe internally they're worried about it. It doesn't seem like publicly they're worried about it at all.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get back to JOK for a sec. Obviously the news coming out this week that he's out for the season with this neck injury. And the Browns obviously and smartly have been very cagey about his status for a while now. And they finally just said, hey, and he put out a letter and they put out a letter saying he's out for the year. And this, I talked about this a little bit the other day, as someone who played in the league and knows what it's like fighting for a job and fighting for that roster spot and fighting to get those years in to get the pension and the benefits and that type of stuff. We, as fans and even as media members, we sometimes forget about the human there. And, fans get mad when players hold out for money or think they're being selfish. But it's things like this that JOK, and he signed his contract, and obviously he's, I think going to be okay financially. I don't know. I don't know his finances.
Yeah, who knows? I mean,
right.
I don't know enough about the new CBA with what these guys lose or what they can gain, but
yeah,
I mean, you want to think he's probably set financially. But
who
it
knows?
doesn't even really matter. I mean, the health is all that matters at this point. It's like, is the guy's quality of life going to be okay?
Right.
I assume that part that's the focus, right? It's not about getting back on the field. If you can get back on the field, like that's such a bonus at this point that I don't think the Browns are even thinking about that. You read the comments from Andrew Berry after they announced that he was going to miss the season. It's like they're not even thinking about football right now, and nobody should. Not with JOK.
No.
If he ever comes back out there on the practice field, I think it'd be a miracle at this point for us to count on that or think that he's going to come back. It's like, dude, let's just hope the guy's okay.
I mean, it's going to be over 2 calendar years. I don't know what would happen that all of a sudden he'd be able to play. I think you got to assume his career is over. Like you said, you wish him for the best personally. Yeah. He's a really smart guy, so that's why I'm just assuming he's probably been good with his money. But who knows? I wish him the best, physically. And it seems like he's been around the team. Obviously, he was there for that mini camp. He showed up, so maybe he's going to be involved with the team in terms of some sort of coaching or some sort of role with the team. I don't know. He's a very popular player. So I'm rooting for him to just have a good, healthy life here going forward. Forget football.
Oh, no question. No question. And he was like, at least it seems, a really nice guy. Like everyone loves him. His teammates love him. So, thoughts and prayers are with him and his family and that he can just, be healthy.
You never know. It's a shame, selfishly, for us and for him, I'm sure, that he can't play football anymore, or it seems like he can't, because he had his career arc, I talked about this the other day, as a rookie, he was okay, and then his second year, he was awful, and we're like, can this guy even play in the NFL? And then his third year, he just goes from being one of the worst linebackers in the league to one of the best.
Yep.
And he gets a contract, and he's off to a good start, and then he has this injury, and at the time, you don't even realize it's that big a deal, and now that might be the end of his career, so it sucks.
No, it really does. And for the Browns, like just from a football perspective,
Yeah.
they don't have a ton of depth at linebacker. So,
No.
the kid they drafted from UCLA, obviously they're going to expect him to be a player like right away.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be looking, no doubt. I mean, eh, eh, you got two defensive players that you drafted with your first two picks, and they're both going to be expected to contribute immediately, be big parts of this defense right away. Is it easier? I mean, I guess with outside of quarterback, I guess you, as a rookie, if you're a high draft pick, you're always expected to contribute right away outside of a quarterback.
I always feel like first and second round picks,
Yeah.
sometimes third round picks,
Yeah.
but more so like a first and second round pick. Like if you are selected there,
Yeah.
the mindset for me coming to camp is I'm going to be a starter as a rookie.
Yeah. Should be. Yeah.
And if you're not, then what happened? Something didn't go as planned. Because if you're a first or second round pick and you're not a quarterback, I think you're on the field like day
Yeah.
one.
The only exception where it wouldn't be a negative maybe is if you get drafted by say you get drafted by Philadelphia, like one of the top teams.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, we drafted you in the second round because we think you're awesome, but we're going to want you to sit and learn for a year or so because we got another guy who's good and we're going to let him walk in a year or whatever. Not that they're saying this to
Well,
him
and you're
directly.
also, if you're the second round pick for Philly, you're the 64th pick of
Right,
the draft.
exactly.
And you're not the 33rd.
Yes, and they don't need rookies to play necessarily right away because they're so deep and they're so good. But outside of those, and that's a pretty unique circumstance because there's not that many teams that are like that.
Right.
But outside of that, yes, if you don't start, especially in the case of the Browns guys who were, they drafted 3 guys in the top 36. If you throw in Judkins with that pick too, like those guys, you drafted the top 36 for the Browns, and you're not a quarterback. If you're not starting week 1, unless it's an injury, there's a problem. Didn't go well in camp.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and as for Judkins, I mean, we know running back more than any position in football. Those guys who are good, they hit the ground running often right away.
Oh God, yeah. Running backs typically walk into the league as starters.
Yeah.
Like Ashton Genty, that dude better be in the Pro Bowl this year.
100%, or at the very least in the conversation for it. Like he lost out on a tiebreaker or whatever because somebody picked a veteran. Like you're drafted that high as a running back. But even Judkins, I mean, I'm expecting him to have a 1,000-yard season. I don't think that's outrageous to think.
I think he's going to have to come in here. I think, especially when you have a young quarterback, that you're trying to develop, you're not putting a lot on his plate.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's leave the Browns for now. Want to hit on the Cavs in just a second. The Guardians did lose yesterday, lost the final game of their series with the Brewers, so they did win that series, took 2 out of 3, so that's good. Still, they're now 3.5 games out, though, because all the Tigers do is win. Tigers by far the best record in the American League. They're 29-15, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, let's get to the Cavs, Dustin, because you haven't had a chance to react. You were supposed to be on UCSS yesterday, but obviously you're sick. You could do this, but we don't need you in the studio sick for 2 hours.
I was more so looking out for you guys.
Yeah. No, we appreciate it. What a brutal end to the season. What are your thoughts on the final game Tuesday and just the series in general?
So, like, my thoughts are, what a disappointment. I want to be mad at the Cavs. I want to call them frauds.
Yeah.
I want to call them soft. I want to say all those things. However, I also think they're a little unlucky, dude. Like,
that's true. Yeah, sure.
These injuries, I don't want to blame them, but how can you not? I mean, we didn't have Garland in the first couple of games. You didn't have Mobley, right, in the second game. And then, you do win game 3, and then you have an all-time bad performance. Like game 4, I'm not looking at game 4 and saying I'm mad about that because the Pacers shot an unbelievable clip. The Cavs couldn't make a shot. We see this happen in basketball. It's a make or miss league. You hear LeBron say that all the time. So that is what it is. I'm just like, it just sucks because what a wasted year, man.
Yeah.
What a wasted freaking year.
Yeah. And you know what? You know why? I obviously injuries were a factor in this series, but here's why it's not an excuse for me. Did you watch the Celtics last night?
Kicked ass. And they were tested early.
That's right. It was a close game early. This was at halftime. They were tied.
Tie game, I
believe,
think.
Right?
Tie game.
Yeah. 59-59 at halftime. No Jason Tatum. Their best player gets hurt last game. They're on the ropes 3-1. They're tied at halftime. And they went out and smoked the Knicks in the second half. Now, are they going to come back and win the series? Probably not, but I'm not going to totally count them out. If they go to New York game 6 and win it, I think they're going to win. I think they'll win game 7.
And like the other thing too is regardless of what happens, the Cavs are out. The Pacers are, I don't know. The Pacers are a good team, I think, but they also had the Cavs number. They beat the Cavs this year. They're 5-0 in Cleveland.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
true.
maybe
That's
it's
wild.
just unlucky matchup for the Cavaliers, but I don't think the Pacers will beat the Celtics.
I don't. You think they beat the Knicks?
No. Knicks better get game 6.
Yeah. Oh, they better.
They have to get game 6.
Yeah. And I think they will, but they better. They're not going to win Boston game 7 after blowing a 3-1 lead. No chance.
No way.
Now listen, Boston might put a wrinkle into this, but what's fascinating is if the Knicks do take care of business, you will have as your final 4 teams the Knicks, who haven't won a championship in over 50 years, the Pacers, who have never won a championship, the T-Wolves, who have never won a championship, and the Thunder, who have never won a championship.
It's awesome.
So 3 have never won, and the Knicks haven't won over 50 years. That would be kind of crazy if it happens.
I love it.
Right? It's some fresh. I think this Minnesota-Oklahoma City series, that is going to be a lot of fun, I would think.
I mean, you've got the best defense in the league, right?
Yep.
Versus the number 1 offense.
Yeah. And it's not like it's not like either team is bad at the other one.
No. And by the way, Minnesota can score too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They got dudes. I mean, Edwards can go for 40 any single night he wants.
Yep. They won going away last night, and he didn't shoot crazy amount.
I needed one more rebound
points
from Gobert.
What's that?
I needed one more rebound from Rudy Gobert, and they pulled him with 3 minutes to go because they wanted to go with the smaller lineup.
That sucks.
Yeah. The stupid parlays.
They'll kill you sometimes, but they're fun.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards at 22, 7, and 12 with 3 block shots yesterday. Just crazy. Anyway, a bitter disappointment. It's gonna be so hard to care about the regular season next year.
Well, I mean, I kind of didn't care about it this year.
Yeah.
You got caught up in it a little bit.
I did. I was emotional about the Cavs, and Donovan said, yes, was it yesterday or no? It was after the game. He goes, "We go 82-0 next year. Nobody's gonna care. It doesn't mean anything."
Can I say one more thing about the game the other night?
Yeah, sure.
I think Kenny Atkinson kind of got outcoached this series.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And like it was lineups, it was certain things that I saw. Also, dude, Garland, I was at the game.
Yeah.
Darius Garland could barely walk.
Yeah.
He
was a mess.
He was a walking turnover. He was chucking up shots that he had no business shooting, and he had no push off that toe.
Yeah.
Why do we have him out there?
Yeah. I mean, I give him credit because everybody was
I'm
criticizing.
glad I appreciate the effort in gutting through and trying to fight. But if you don't have it, you sometimes hurt the team.
Yeah. And I think with Mobley next year, like, he's got to demand the ball more. There's too many stretches in the game where, like, he just doesn't get the ball. And it's frustrating. It'd be interesting to see. It's going to be hard for the Cavs to make trades because they're in this second apron, which makes it very complicated making trades. I know Mikey McNuggets suggested, or maybe it was Jason suggested yesterday, maybe a Jared Allen to the Rockets for like Tari Eason and some second player, I can't remember, to kind of shake up the chemistry a little bit. They need to get tougher too. Let's be honest. They're just not a tough. They get bullied, and they got bullied in this series against an Indiana team that's not known to be that physical.
How do they get tougher when they don't have tough guys at the lead roles? I mean, Donovan, I think, is tough.
I think he is. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think, Mobley is what he is, and he's too good a player. You're not moving on from him. But I think around Donovan and Mobley, and Donovan is tough. I agree with you. Like that guy, you knew he was going to play in that game, even though he was a mess and he had a great game. But they've got to get some guys like, is it Tony Eason or Torrey Eason, the guy in the Rockets? I can't think of his first name, but McNugget says the guy's tough as nails, plays good defense. Like they need a couple of guys like that. They need some nastiness on this team.
Yeah, I agree.
As the saying goes, you can't have all choir boys on the team.
True.
You know, you got to you have some crazy guys, and they need.
I mean, we don't got to have dudes that are like in gangs, but we need guys that are going to be tough. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're a fake tough guy, like I'm cool with Draymond Green-esque.
Yeah,
you can be like that if you want to be. We don't have anybody like that. We don't even have a Kendrick Perkins.
No. They need some more badasses. All right, that's going to do it for today. Dustin, you get your rest for the weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. We appreciate. Oh, you know what? Before we go, I do want to read comments. Let me read the comments from the fans.
Yeah, read them.
Sam with the bull and fox emojis. We like that. Will says, "Let's go Timberwolves." Okay. There you go, Timberwolves fan.
Yeah, I can get behind that, actually.
I'm actually, outside of Boston, I'm okay with any of the teams. I don't dislike – the Knicks were the only team that I grew up in New York. I wasn't a fan of the Knicks, but they're the only team I didn't hate. Like, I hated the Mets. I hated the Yankees. I hated the Jets. Hated the Giants. The Knicks, I was like, okay, all my friends are Knicks fans. And I'd watch the Knicks. I didn't root for them, but I'm okay with the Knicks winning. I'm certainly okay with Indiana, Oklahoma City, or Minnesota winning. Let's see. Will Y says, "Nice hat, Bull." Yeah, I never wear a hat. Dustin, you wear a hat a lot.
I do.
I don't think Nick Wilson has ever taken off a hat. I think he probably sleeps with hats. Jonathan Peterlin never takes off his hat. Like those guys always have hats on. But I'm not a big hat guy. But here I am.
I like
today.
it on you though. It's
Thank
a nice
you.
little touch there.
I appreciate it.
Cleveland Guardians hat.
Edge Eye says Titans, Saints, Browns, 0 games for these amazing franchises. Amazing. Oh, yeah. Those are the 3 teams with no night games. Titans, Saints, and Browns. Matt says Browns could realistically be 1-7 or 0-8 heading into the bye week. Eric says pollen is winning. Yes, the allergies are bad right now.
Pollen's killing me, bro.
Yeah. Jay, I want to see how the team looks first couple of games before I put a win total on the year. Happy Camper might drink the actual Kool-Aid before the season. That's funny. Jay says it's all about the offensive line and the running game. If they can run the ball, they have a chance. That's true, sure, because we know they're not going to be a great passing team. Ed I says it'll be Flacco, then the Sanders era in Cleveland will start. Eric says the Brook Park Browns will win the Super Bowl. Deuce, good to see you guys together again. Just play Flacco and let's have some fun for a change. Cheers, guys. Sam says we can trade them Pickett back before training camp. I don't think the Steelers want Pickett back. I don't think he wants to go back. Ada, my guys. Double heart emoji. Good morning. Residue 1011 says Dustin looks like a cosmonaut today.
What's a cosmonaut?
I think that's a Russian astronaut.
Is it? The mustache?
I guess maybe the mustache.
I gotta start growing the beard back. The beard's coming back though because the wedding is less than a month away, and Sarah does not want me to have a mustache and look like a pedophile for the wedding.
But she's okay with a beard, full beard.
The beard's fine, yeah, or a predator, any sort of predator.
Speaking of which, for those who don't know, I am officiating Dustin's wedding with his soon-to-be new wife, Sarah, and you got to send me your contact information.
Dude, you have my brother's number.
I know, but come on now. Your fiance sent me the info.
Who do you want to know?
I told you got to send me phone numbers for your two friends.
You know everything about me.
I need to speak to your friends, like from when you, like at least one friend from when you were a kid. I don't know, as you know, I don't know.
My brother's been there since day one.
Huh?
My brother's been there since day one.
I know, but I need a friend perspective, not just a brother perspective. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's see. Eric says Cavs season was an epic Cavalanche. Maybe Brandywine can use those fake snow machines. Yeah, so Dan Gilbert bought the fake snow machines for the Cavalanche, and then they really couldn't use it in the playoffs. There wasn't much.
How do you sweep the Miami Heat?
Yeah.
and then just barely be competitive.
It is amazing. I wonder if a team has ever played that well in the first series and that badly in the second series. It probably hasn't happened very often. Andy says, with the way Jerome and Merrill played and Garland's injury, why the hell did we not see Porter at all? They obviously didn't think he was any better than those guys. And finally, Smish Fishton says, is Dustin in a YMCA cover band?
Hey,
that's a good one. Oh, my God. That is funny.
haters gonna hate.
All right, guys. We love you all. We'll see you next week. Thanks to Max and Z for producing. We'll talk to you next time. It's the Bullet Fox right here from Bet Rivers. See you, everybody.
Later.